Christian woman. I hope this video finds you well today. I just wanted to stop by and share that I was talking to this young lady today. She said I can share her story. I'm not going to share her name, but I wanted to address, there are some women that are dating and they find, that they match with someone, they're connected with someone in multiple ways, but they're stuck because they say, well, this person doesn't share my Christian values, or we're not really evenly yoked in a way I would like, or he has a different Christian upbringing, or he's on the fence, but he's a good person. He's a really good person. He comes from a great family. And I'm seeing some women struggle with this. So I wanted to address this. This young lady shared with me that she was married. She is now getting remarried to the same person. She matched with someone who is a good person, and they worked through some challenges, as a lot of couples and married couples do, but it came to a boiling point where his faith did not look like her faith, and it was clashing. They could no longer ignore it, and they were at odds. But all the while, she was in prayer. She was in prayer every day about this marriage and about this person. So long story short, because it's a long story, so I'm going to have to make it short. They ended up back together, and this young man gave his life to Christ on his own, which, ideally that's the way you want it. You don't force somebody, to come to Christ. But they went through some trials and tribulations to get to the place where they are now. They separated and divorced, and he went through his conversion period and his journey and his struggles, and ultimately God gets all the glory because he gave his life to Christ, and they are now back together, evenly yoked as Christians. Starting out, they weren't quite where they wanted to be, good people, but here they are today. And I say all this to say is because I know that, you're not always going to find that perfect, that aligns with your Christian theology. And I've said it before, I'm not a pastor, I'm not a prophet, I'm not a theologian, so you're going to have to uniquely implement this in a way that it connects with your Christian upbringing, your theology, and your background, because this is very important for people. They want to make sure that they're with someone that is connected to their Christian doctrine. Now, you could be someone who's watching this and you're not Christian at all. This still, of course, applies to you because it's about healthy relationships. So you have to find, what is of value to you and how that is going to work itself out in your future relationship or marriage, if that's what you're intending in dating. This is very important. I see this all the time in marriage counseling when I'm working with folks or coaching people in relationships. They struggle with areas that they try to ignore. And as I've said before, and I'll continue to say, the problems don't go away. So you want to make sure you address these things. And admittedly, the young lady said, she ignored that this person had a different theological background than her, but she went forward with the marriage anyway because, again, he's a good person. And there's a lot of good people out there that may not match perfectly. There's over 45,000 Christian denominations out there. So you really have to look within, look within your relationship with Father God. Of course, everything you do in prayer and supplication, and really make discerning decisions. But sometimes when it doesn't look like it's going to work out, which in this couple, it didn't look like it was going to work out, but God had a different plan, and he brought his son to him, and he brought their marriage back together. Okay, so I just wanted to say that to address some ladies that may be going through these challenges. And I've heard this with more than one person, not just this young lady. It reminds me also of 1 Corinthians 7:14, and you can look into that yourself. It reminds me of sanctification through proximity, where Paul talks about marriages where the other person may be an unbelieving spouse, and not to give up that hope and stay in prayer, because the believer can be that positive impact for their spouse and their family if you're someone dating with the intention for marriage, or if you're watching this and you're already married. Okay, so I just wanted to stop by and say that so people don't give up hope when they see something that's not quite fitting the way they would like it to fit. You just never know what God is working through your storms and your journey. Stay in prayer, stay in faith. He's working it all out. You don't have to try to figure everything out on your own. That's why we lean on him and not our own understanding. All right, do your practical work. Faith does not absolve you of your human responsibility. We still have to do our own work while staying in prayer. All right, ciao. Gotta go.